We've talked about disordered love quite a bit, and it really is helpful. It's one of the fundamental sins that plagues the church right now. And another way we could call it is idolatry. Anything that takes the place of God is an idol. And things that take the place of God, they can be actual idols. They can be people who worship carved wood that are made by painters. They can be people, though, as well. And these things are also images of God, and these images of God can be worshipped in the place of God. And then we get to the New Testament, we see Paul calling things like greed idolatry, and really all sin is idolatry because it is placing something before God in your worship. So we live in a time where there's this idolatry happening, and then we live in a time also where there is massive defection from evangelicalism and Protestantism to Rome and Eastern Orthodoxy. It's an interesting, I guess you could say, sociological or ecclesiological phenomena that's been happening. And I've often wondered what the draw is, various things in it, but I want to talk about the draw to Mary as the mother of God, which we would affirm, the Theotokos, the God-bearer. And there is this Mary worship that happens in the Roman and Eastern churches. Now, particularly American Romanists and American Eastern Orthodox Christians deny that they worship Mary. All would deny it, but in America it's particularly tempered as opposed to other countries. But there exists in these traditions a worship of Mother Mary. There's an ancient hymn to Mary sung in Roman and Eastern churches, and it goes like this. And we could bring out all kinds of stuff like this. Beneath thy compassion we take refuge, O Theotokos. Do not despise our petitions in times of trouble, but rescue us from dangers. Only pure, only blessed one. These are hymns and prayers in the style of the Psalms, and they're given to Mary. It is clearly worship. It is clearly, certainly a disordered love. And we acknowledge Mary. We acknowledge her as blessed. We acknowledge her as a Theotokos. But this is clearly going into the realm of Mary worship. So what's the pull? I've thought about why does this happen? What's the draw to doing this? Why do people do this? And I would submit to you that the mother worship that we see in these churches is consistent with idolatry generally. And I want to focus on the Latin words of mother and matter. They're connected. There's etymologists who say that the Latin word for mother, which is mater, is connected to the Latin word for material, which is materia, or matter. So mater and materia are both from the same linguistic family. Now, material things that are created are a gift of God, but we don't worship them. These things are good, but we don't worship them. So materia are good, but we don't worship them. Mater, mothers, are good. Mothers are a gift to us from God, but we don't worship them, even if it's the mother of God. I'm persuaded that as we become idolaters with things that don't appear like rank idolatry, such as putting your family before anything else, putting your church even before everything else, which the church is a mother, and when you put the church before God, you consistently work yourself out into this heart idolatry manifest in ceremonial idolatry. They're consistently working out their idolatry. So evangelicals who have idolatry in their heart, they have idolatry of their family, they have idolatry of their parents, of their children, of their social life, of their churches, their mother churches. They have that in their heart, and they say, well, this is here. They don't say this consciously. This is here. Might as well externalize this consistently. And I think that that is what is going on. I acknowledge that not everybody who is in these churches are engaged in this sort of thing, but I do think that there is a connection, particularly for those people in those churches, to be aware of. And also, while we reject kind of Marian idolatry, it serves to show us, if this is true, if this progression of idolatry is true, it serves to show us that we have to reject that kind of nascent idolatry, that nascent idolatry of materia, that nascent idolatry of prioritizing if Mother Church, prioritizing your family, prioritizing all kinds of things that are created over the Creator. And if there are those things in your heart, then you need to take out your iconoclastic sledgehammer and you need to start smashing them. And this reminds us of our need to confess